People of the internet. Again, shout out to the good folks that have stopped by, showed some love, shared perspective. All of that is greatly appreciated and is encouraged here on this channel. Nonetheless, let's get into this next video. This comes from a channel on YouTube called The School of Life. And they title this video, Getting Better at Picking Lovers.
For a long time, it can seem as if we are just unlucky in love. We spent 3 years with one person and sadly it was very tumultuous, and in the end they left us for someone they met at work. Then came another partner who, after a promising start, turned out to be rather cold and disdainful. Then there was our most recent friend who, though undoubtedly tender in parts, could never be wholly present in or committed to the relationship. All this can seem like a series of accidents, until, very slowly, perhaps prompted by a kind and clever friend or psychotherapist, we may grow better able to study our patterns. So good may have we become at selective blindness, it may now influence the way we approach every candidate on our path. To combat our weakness, we might, after any set of promising dates, ask ourselves a frank question. Do we really think that this person might have the psychological equipment to allow for a kind and emotionally mature relationship to develop? To extend our questioning, we might turn over some of the following. Could they be our equal, or are we fated to always be the more senior partner? How capable could they be of looking after us as we look after them? Where is this situation likely to be in 2 years' time, and 5 or 10? They may look lovely, but how wise are they? What reserves of stability and goodness might they have? They may have an impressive career, but could it sometimes be put aside for our sake? Gradually, we should learn to do what we always claimed we were doing, looking for love, not ecstatic torment or fascinating indifference, exhausting evasion or bittersweet abandonment. We should take pride in flexing our newly discovered "can this person maturely love me" muscle, and bringing it to bear on anyone who comes our way. It may be one of the most important faculties we are ever kind enough to ourselves to nurture.
Getting better at picking lovers. Almost as if it's a skill set, right? Of course, this comes from The School of Life over on YouTube. Again, I'm a huge fan of their channel. I'm a huge fan of just like animation. Of course, they have a lot of short stories and things of that nature, almost under the same premise of like philosophy and self-improvement as well too. Is there a method? Let's talk about it. Is there a method on how you and I can pick the right partner? Is there a strategy? Is it a skill set? Is it fate? How do you go about picking the right lover? They touched on a lot of topics that those questions that they spoke on, in terms of what you could maybe ask yourself. Does this person has the maturity level, right, to love me how I want to be loved, or whatever they said? If, you know, can you make a sound prediction as to what the next 2 to 5 years looks like with this person, right? Things of that nature. I think I'll speak for myself. I'm a little rusty. As somebody who's a single man at the age of 35, who has not had a counterpart, a female counterpart, who has had the title of girlfriend in some years, I question myself, am I capable of finding the right lover? Does the right woman even exist? Is she even out there? I believe she's out there. She could be. Am I even mentally, emotionally ready to join forces with a female counterpart? Being that I've been on, as we even spoke in the last video, monk mode, or my seasons of isolation, for well over a decade, if I'm not mistaken. I wonder these things, man. One of the things I always used to wonder, man, even when I was younger, like after like high school, of course, because of course I've had girlfriends, I've had people that I've dated, of course, women that I've dated, in school, high school, whatever. And I always used to ask myself, you know, once I saw that, okay, I'm 2 years, 3 years in of just being single, I always used to ask myself and wonder like, yo, Lord God, when will I know? If you were to put the woman of my life right in front of me, will I be smart enough to know that that's her? Give me the sense. That's all I used to ask, man. Like, I want you to make it abundantly clear. Honestly, like, this is what I tell God. Like, I want you to make it abundantly clear who is for me, who I should give my time, my energy, my resources to, because to be completely honest, folks, I'm a little bit scared. It's like a decision that I just don't want to get wrong. Honestly, man. And some people will tell you, man, you just never know, bro. You just never know. You just kind of go into it, but I don't want to do that. I want to be as sure as possible, because again, of all the things I kind of come up with it, man, they say one of the most important decisions you ever make is the person that you choose to be your spouse, choose to be your significant other, person you choose to have children with, build a legacy with, build a foundation with. So again, in this video entitled Getting Better at Picking Lovers, is it a skill set, do you think? Is it intuition? I would maybe want to believe it's a little bit of trial and error. Hopefully not too much trial and error. But I would want to believe there's an element of trial and error in there, or maybe as you've grown and you've maybe had some dating experiences, you've maybe learned or are now a little bit more sound in knowing what you do and do not like, what you will and what you will not accept when it comes to a relationship, when it comes to a significant other. I always say the mindset is something that's always going to be growing, man. So maybe you have your little, elementary school crush, and, of course, the premise of whatever that was is maybe going to be a lot more superficial than what your college crush would be like, right? Some of maybe I would call them standards, for lack of a better word. Maybe your standards were maybe based off of social media, right? How I always say, and I think I actually spoke on that in this video as well too, how I always say, like, because of social media, I think that we have superficial standards when it comes to finding a partner. How they look, right? Or what did they drive? Or, is she a baddie? Or, things of that nature. And it's just like, are those the characteristics that are going to matter when it comes down to running a household and raising a family, having children? I don't think so. I'm more so interested in the mindset. What's her mindset hitting on? Right? Does she have characteristics that could be an asset to what I already got going on? Right? What's her worldview on certain topics? What is she passionate about? These are things that I ask myself. And of course, I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all kind of answer, but I do know, and I would say, I guess now I'm at the stage where I'm more open to the idea of entertaining a female counterpart. Of course, because there's a period of time where I wasn't, as I mentioned, of course, I was indeed, and sometimes I still feel like I still am, but I was indeed on an individual journey, and I think the good Lord had me in isolation for some years while he developed me and developed my mind, renewed my mind. I had to rebuild myself over again, and I think that requires a level of concentration and focus that cannot be disturbed by another party. But again, at 35 years old, and being more open to the idea of joining forces with the female counterpart, these are things that I ask myself, man, what are the characteristics that I want her to embody? I pride myself in being self-sufficient. I am very self-sufficient. I have a hard time asking for help sometimes. So it's just like, I ask myself, am I even ready to be willing to let somebody into the fold and give them some level of control or say, I guess, for lack of a better word, give them any type of say in what I got going on in my life? I want to be able to do that. Yeah, maybe I think it is. I think as you grow as a person, as you develop as a person, your senses maybe grow along with you, right? So again, trial and error. Maybe you've gone through some circumstances, dating relationships where you maybe treated one way in a relationship, and you've vowed to yourself that, hey, I never want to be treated like that again in this next relationship, right? But again, getting better, I think, and even just how the video is titled, Getting Better at Picking Partners, means that maybe didn't have it right the first time, right? Maybe you have taken some L's and you want to get better in your ability to select the right partner. But I think it's going to be subjective. I think everybody has their own standards. People have their what they call their non-negotiables, right? Things that they're just not going to be willing to budge on when it comes to finding a right partner. Like, nah, this is a must, right? Which I think is cool, right? You always hear people saying, "Don't settle, never settle." Nobody ever wants to feel like they settled, right? In any type of predicament, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your career, whether it's your whatever. People don't like the idea of settling. Like, oh man, I settled for this, but this isn't what I really would have wanted to do. I think could be an excruciating feeling at times. But again, for me personally, folks, I think I want to believe that I have the sense that if the good Lord brings the right woman who is for me, I hope I have the sense to know, boom, it's her. Right? And I think I do. And I think I'm at a stage in my life where I'm a lot more mature and more confident in the metrics that I'll be using to gauge her being the one, right? I pride myself in not necessarily going off of this social media, she has to be this. Just like how you always hear the women, oh, he has to be 6 foot, 6-pack. I want him to make 6 figures. Those are all superficial guidelines or metrics that are not realistic, I think, in my personal opinion, when it comes to finding a male counterpart, ladies. So in reverse of that, again, I'm looking for maybe a woman who is nurturing, is compassionate. Like, those are maybe my non-negotiables, to be completely honest. Like, you have to be nurturing. You have to be compassionate. You have to be patient. And again, I'll never ask of you what you can't ask of me, right? I think that's fair. I will never ask of somebody what they in return can't ask for me. So, of course, if I'm asking you to be compassionate and nurturing, it would be fair for you to be able to ask for that, those characteristics from me as well, too. Which I do think is not a problem at all. I think mindset for me is definitely at the forefront, if not number one. Of course, fear of God. Again, I'm not expecting you to be the most religious person, whatever your beliefs are, assuming you have the same mindset that I hold, that I embody, that we're all just humans out here. We are inferior to something greater than ourselves. And whatever you want to call that thing, that entity, that force, I think just the acknowledgement of that is the most important to me. I think you must have been on your own personal journey with your version of what you call God. I think that's very important for me as well, too. So what are your thoughts, folks? I'd love to hear it down in the comment section. Did you get it right? Was it a lot of trial and error for you when finding a partner? Or if you're single right now, what are the qualities in that counterpart? Of course, if you're a woman looking to join forces with a man, if you're a man looking to join forces with a woman, what are the qualities that you're looking for in that counterpart? But what are your expectations? What are you looking for in a partner that you want to build with, of course, long term, right? Assuming that you want this to be long term, whether it's, house, the family, this, that, and the other. What are the qualities that you look for in a partner when trying to determine if they're the right one for you? Again, shout out to the good folks over at the School of Life. The video was entitled Getting Better at Picking Lovers, How to Choose the Right Lover. I want to hear your thoughts down in the comment section, folks. As always, the likes, the comments, and subscribes are all greatly appreciated. I'll catch you on the next one.